we always going to live in St. Louis? Are we going to live in the East? Are we going to live in the West? Are we going to live in this country?
Don. Don.
What?
Let's go.
No.
Are you just going to stay here?
I don't know.
Oh, sweetheart, listen to me. Please, if you love me, just listen to me.
No, you listen to me. This machine is predicting our future. Do you think I could just walk away from it?
I'm not talking about that machine anymore. I'm talking about you. Are you just going to sit here and let that thing run your life?
Run my life. Run my life. Run my life. Run my life. Run my life.
What is it about human beings that the idea of knowing the future is so intriguing to us, and we want to know it? And so we have fortune cookies, weather forecasting, sports betting, the odds makers know which team will win or lose. We have political polling. A sample of voters say such and extrapolate, and then now we know who will win and who won't, and it's settled, right? Are we so convinced it would be helpful to be able to see what's going to happen next in life? Pastor Mike here. I want to talk about fortune telling today, and the opening clip from the Twilight Zone episode Nick of Time, starring a young William Shatner, was just so perfect as an intro. The Bible warns us against fortune telling. Before Israel entered the Promised Land, they received these words from Moses in Deuteronomy 18, verse 9 through 13. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes. There it is right there. There shall not be found among you anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes, fortune telling, and it goes on, or interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or a charmer, or a medium, or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. And let's just stop right there. And so along with a long list of other occult practices, fortune telling is an abomination to the Lord. It is a grievous sin to tell fortunes. And just to develop this a bit further, you'll notice the mentioning of divination side by side with telling fortunes in Deuteronomy 18, verse 10. The term divination or practicing divination is another word for fortune telling. According to Google, divination is the practice of using supernatural or occult means to gain insight into a situation or question, or to foresee the future. It can also mean having unusual insight or intuitive perception. It goes on, divination has been practiced in all civilizations, both ancient and modern. In ancient Rome, divination was used to discover the will of the gods. Today, divination is more commonly associated with horoscopes, astrology, tarot cards, crystal gazing, and the Ouija board. And so we have a further development of the occultic root of fortune telling. Fortune telling is of the occult. It is a seeking out of demons for information. Fortune telling is condemned by the Lord. Don't do it. Stop doing it. I am adamant about this. And now let me give you an example. With all this talk in the church about God told me this, or I heard God speaking to me, or I feel led to say this as prompted by the Lord, and then they up the ante to I have a word from the Lord for you, and they're speaking to you personally, or you see it being done with someone else. But ever since I left Pentecostalism, I'm convinced that both words of knowledge and wisdom as gifts have completely ceased, since we have the Word of God now, the Bible. We no longer need those gifts. God gives us all we need to know about our lives, how we are to live, what we are to do and not do, summed up in the 10 Commandments, and what we can expect in the future. We don't need fortune tellers, I guess is really what I want to say here. I can remember as a young Christian in Bible school, there was this whole movement where certain teachers would come to our school and they'd come bringing, quote, words for people. And many times they were about what we would do in our lives in the future. And somebody convinced me, how is this not the fortune telling that's condemned in the scriptures? And even when they use a Bible verse or two.